audience and the heteronomous nature of jazz. So there are two main things here. One, we're talking about the role of audience in helping the jazz musician to play better, and the other one is the nature of jazz, which is heteronomous. It's something that maybe is unheard of. So I hope you enjoy this new idea about heteronomous. Not new, but new to you, perhaps. But through the whole thing, what I wanted to argue is that um, get to know jazz better. Know what is jazz. Know that jazz is a very contextual, a very social-based kind of things. Knows that um, jazz is heteronomous. Then only you play. Go ahead and play. Do not blindly go into the performance without understanding. That's my message here. Now, this talk is divided into four sections. First, now I'm giving you an introduction. The second section, we talks about the heteronomous nature of jazz. The third section, we will present antithesis, the other side of the arguments, how jazz actually was also argued as something that is autonomous. And finally, the section 4, we will put things together and talk about the audience role in jazz making. Now, how do I started this? All started with the Jazz Live in Music House, started in 2011 in UPM, University of Malaysia. Yeah, I have a lot of sweet memories. A lot of musician friends come and help to play, and students had a good time. But one of the problem that I face is the audience behavior is some rather odd. We had university students coming in to listen to jazz, but they didn't understand what is jazz and didn't know how to behave. After one or two songs, everybody was just tense up, and then they clap like they're listening to an academic presentation like that. So I got to educate them. So then slowly I understand that the education of audience is actually quite important. Now, I would like to throw you some provoking statements by people here. Um, why I say this? Because the whole thing is I want to safeguard improvisation. I don't want people to have the wrong understanding about what is improvisation. Now, there are some saying that draw my attention. About 10 years ago, one of the legend in this country, musical legend in this country, he himself is a good jazz player. He composed many songs, also do a lot of arrangement, also do pop music. And this is his words. No need to solo for so long, you know. If not, it become boring. So I was like, wow. Then I have another pianist told me, those trio thing is over already. I was like, oh yeah. And another guitarist come composer told me that nowadays we do not simply leave it to improvisation, but we do arrangement and orchestrations. So all these three statements is like telling me improvisation is such a bad thing. I don't blame them. It's not their fault, but maybe it is because there's a kind of wrong understanding of what improvisation is, and the musician played it with that wrong understanding until people hate improvisations. So I just want to counter this all this negative image of improvisation with just two quotes. Yeah? This is just to bring out the topic. So first is from trumpet player Miles Davis. Yeah, he's the founder of Cool Jazz. He said, "Man, you don't have to play a whole lot of notes. You just have to play the pretty ones." So improvisation can be beautiful as a sound. It can be beautiful. Then the most revealing is pianist McCoy Tyner's statement when he talked about his drummer Roy Haynes. He said, "The things that set Roy apart from other musicians is that he listens so well. Listens so well. He teaches you. When he say he teaches you, doesn't mean that he teaches you in the classroom, but his playing is teaching you to listen carefully, and to respond accordingly, and to put things in perspective, and not simply go out for yourself. So this is very revealing words that tells you improvisation is not something that's just disorder, chaotic, lawlessness. No, but it's a very, don't you see, it's very thoughtful, the kind of behavior that he described here. Listen and respond, put things to perspective, and do not just simply go out of yourself. Now, I just want to change the topic a little bit here, talk about how jazz is being listened, right? When we talk about audience, we just want to see how jazz is being listened. Basically, yes, you can listen to recording by yourself at home, but that is not the normal way. Then we talk about jazz performance appreciation. So, in jazz can be listened in jazz club and can be listened in concert hall. Jazz have been played like classical music as well, with the audience paying undivided attention. But jazz is also played in jazz festival where people are joining in, be there, and feel the music together in a more casual atmosphere. So, but I just want to draw your attention to a more narrow version of jazz as a culture. Because how it started, it didn't start in the United States as a jazz festival. It didn't start as a classical concert, but it is actually a kind of people get together. Yes, first is in dance hall as entertainment, but later when it get into modern jazz, it is always a club activities. Club activity means people who have the same understanding, or people who have the same preference, they gather together and they celebrate certain ideas. So now jazz has become a very urban thing. It's the wallpaper of urban cities. Like Blue Note Tokyo or other jazz club, we have no black tie here. It's always urban. You don't see a jazz club with peasants, with people dressed like country western folk singer. Jazz is always like, suit and tie and leather shoes. Why? It has something there. It's a culture that when it started, how he developed in the 20th centuries in the States. It's an urban culture. It's a club activities, and today it's a very interesting way to. It's subversive in a way. With all the juxtaposed ideas of music being played, it actually become a wallpaper of an urban city. So that we need to know that we are doing something that of that nature in jazz, right? So the sound picture of jazz, I would like you to just consider this term to know what is the sound picture of jazz. Jazz as an atmosphere. I don't play the music here, but please go and listen to Bill Evans' My Foolish Heart, the famous album, and just listen to the beginning phrase, and you will notice there are noise of cutleries and people talking. Now that is quite signature to me. Most of the recording do noise reduction and delete all these things out from the recording. But in the real happening of jazz, there was always noise accompanying. That's why the social thing is very important, to feel that jazz is playing in the midst of people, and the people are talking. People are not like just not everybody is quiet. I thought that is quite important as a sound picture. So listen to Bill Evans' My Foolish Heart, and enjoy together the ambience behind it when people talk, and the kind of sound. So that is the first part. It's a starter for you for this talk before we go into the real topic. So see you in the next section 2, which is heteronomous nature of jazz. Thank you.